Welcome to that loving voice. Welcome to that loving voice. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a good sleep and you're ready to rock. As you know, my name is Tegan. I'm the founder of That Loving Voice, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you this upcoming series on backbending. For today's class, if possible, I encourage you to grab hold of a yoga strap if you have one, but if not, then I encourage you to take a skipping rope, a scarf, maybe a belt that could work. We're going to be working with about shoulder width in our strap today. If possible, you could grab a block or maybe a large book like an old dictionary um, or something of the kind. I encourage you to grab a sweater, a pair of socks that you can set aside for your Shavasana, and a blanket as well that you could use for that. If you wanted to take it to the next level, you could even get a face cloth or something so that you can cover your eyes at the end as well. So with that, we will get to it. Thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel and for sharing my videos. Whether you're on Facebook, just share that to a friend of yours, someone you trust who you know could benefit from these types of exercises and the combination of mind, body, and spirit. Feel free to comment, send me an email at thatlovingvoice@gmail.com. And thank you for your donations as well, which make this channel possible. Now, so let's take hold of our strap to start. If you have a yoga strap, then you're familiar with something sort of like this. It has a loop and a buckle. You can adjust that buckle. So if you're using a belt like for your waist, then you can also find sort of a notch that works for you. So what we want today to work with is for this loop to be about the size of the shoulder. So mine's a bit big right now. This looks a little better. The elbows are no bigger than the shoulders. Okay, so what we're trying to prevent is sort of like a bell shape. We want to sort of scoop that in alignment. Today we'll be doing some work with that behind the back. All right, to help just sort of open through the shoulders and the chest. And we may do some other things with it too. So once you have that, we can set it aside. I always just sort of loop mine around and toss it over there. And now we'll come onto the back. So if you have a block or a book, or even if you had, I wouldn't use a blanket right now unless you're confident that your blanket is very stiff. But something that could be sort of stable. You don't want it to, like, if you're using a book, you don't want it to smush and fold over and collapse under you. You want something pretty concrete. So you could even tape around an old book that you're never going to use again to make it more stable. But once you have that, we're going to come down onto the back. Now, if you have lower back pain and this is too much, come out at any point in time. But if you feel like you can handle it, then take this block under the sacrum bone. Okay, so if you look here at my back, you can see the arch, right? The block is on the part that would be sort of like if I was, it's on my pants, if I was wearing a bikini, the block is on the part of my body that's still covered by my bikini bottom. So the arch of the back is not, this is incorrect. You don't want, just don't. No, no, stop. You want to support the hips. So it's probably lower than what you're expecting. But if you feel your tailbone, it's not that far, okay? So if your tailbone is pressing in or hanging or crunching on the block, you've gone too far to the other end. All right? So now I'll just show you. This is the sacrum bone. If you look at my spine, the sacrum is right here, okay? It's a triangular bone at the base of the spine. So this is where you want the support. Once you have found that, now remember, if you don't have a block, it's okay. You can just let your hips sort of relax naturally. Now I hope this is a helpful spiel. But once you sort of have this, now just let the arms come down by your side. So today I'm not going to open them. I'll bring the hands down. I can turn the palms up today, and I could even walk the shoulder blades slightly closer to one another so that I'm not super broad or my shoulders aren't hunched or lifted up. But I can just scoop them behind the back there and let the chest fall open a little bit more. And I'm just going to stay here just like this. Now, if I wanted, I could even take the hands and so I'm trying to like just bring the chin in towards the throat a little slightly more so that there's an openness through the back of the neck. Now, we'll stay here. Just let the bones sort of settle down. You can close the eyes. I'm going to come up. But there you are. And you can let the face soften. You can allow for the eyes to soften. You allow the tongue and the jaw to soften. Let the lips relax. And let the breath breathe you. Small disclaimer, please know that that loving voice is not responsible for any injury that may occur during your personal practice. Please listen to the instruction to the best of your ability and consult a doctor prior to practicing if you have any questions or concerns about your ability to follow along. Now focus on the exhalation. And remember that pause from our first series. Meaning the pause at the peak of the exhalation and the inhalation. Therefore, exhale, a moment of great stillness before the inhalation naturally causes the belly to swell with air and the torso floods again with fullness. And then naturally there's that pause at the peak of the inhale, that moment of stillness before the exhalation naturally occurs and the body is purged of the breath. Noticing these 4 parts of the breath. The exhalation, the pause, the inhale, and the pause. I'm nestling down now. Bones are heavy, but the muscles are sort of relaxing into this structure. Noticing how the shoulder blades are settled here, sort of drawn just ever so slightly towards one another. Noticing the back of the neck, which is long and broad, especially at the nape of the neck near the occipital lobe. Noticing the chest is peeling open. Noticing the rib cage, which expands and contracts. And the belly, which lifts, puffing with air on the inhalation. And the belly, which softens down on the exhale. Yes, the belly lifts on the inhalation. The rib cage expands. And the rib cage collapses and the belly softens on the exhale. So if this is not the case for you, then you might be engaging in a breathing pattern called reverse breathing. And we can get to that in another video. Really relax the breath here. Let the breath breathe you. Lean into the softness, the stillness. And we notice how the belly, as it swells with air, also opens through the back body. We notice the curve of the spine as the lower back dips up towards the belly button. And as the hips or the pelvis broaden, either on the floor or on our support. We notice the sacrum bone, that triangular bone at the base of the spine. We notice that drawing inwards towards the center of the body. As the hips are broad, the pelvis is broad and large. We notice the belly, although it swells with air on the exhalation, it softens down. We can feel, or notice, I should say, the musculature of the belly and the abdomen, which supports the spine. You may think of the six pack when you think of the abdomen. This is called the rectus abdominis. But we can also think of the other muscles that support the abdomen, the core. Thinking maybe about the transverse abdominis, which is almost like a girdle which wraps around the whole torso in front and back, supporting the body here. We could think also about the obliques, which are sort of near the lower side parts of the belly. And maybe even the erector spinae, which are muscles supporting the spine itself. We could go on and on. Think now of the muscles that not just support the six pack, but the side body as well, and the lower back. Now the hips, what we studied in our last series, the thigh bones are heavy, dropping down into the base of the pelvis. Although the knees here are bent, we feel the thigh bones, the femur bones, lengthening away from the torso, dropping down into the posterior part of the pelvis. Now, in my library curriculum, we will go into much greater depth when we look at grounding the femurs. We will very likely have a whole, I think it will be 10 videos exploring those concepts rather than a short 3, which sort of offers just a skeleton of the concept. And now, I invite you to exhale and begin applying a mantra if you so choose. The one I will offer today is based on forgiveness. On the inhale, we say to ourselves, I will forgive. And on the exhale, we say, so I may live. Inhaling, I will forgive. Exhaling, so I may live. Now, of course, you can apply your own mantra if you wish to discard my offerings. And we'll say this maybe 3-4 more times. Inhaling, I will forgive. Exhale, so I may live. leaning into that pause between the breath. I will forgive so that I may live. Just one more. Allow that to sink into your spirit. Not the hands. And now engage through the core. So begin to draw the belly button towards the spine. Start feeling that engagement of the core as it supports this very gentle back bend. Now, if you're comfortable, lengthen one leg long. And so you're still here on your block. So now you'll start to feel an openness through the hip flexor, even into the belly. And flex that right foot. Now continue to support the body here, the shoulders gently turning towards one another, the chest peeling open, and the palms here are open to the sky, although they're firm to the ground. So you can actually even press those upper arm bones and the forearms into the ground. You could even press the palms or the tops of the hands into the ground. So we're supporting here the upper body through this lengthening action of the leg. Now, we'll draw that right leg back to the center, and we'll exhale the left leg along. So now we're starting to feel that stretch through the left hip flexor. As we engage through the quadricep, that left foot is engaged. Nice straight line from the heel to the hip to the shoulder. And we continue to press down into the ground with the upper arm bones, the humerus bones, the forearms, and the tops of the hands. So you could even walk those shoulders in a little more. If you know you've already walked them in quite a bit, don't bother overextending, but just to draw and become aware of that action of supporting the shoulder blades here as they press into the ground. Now let the neck be natural. So now we're going to lengthen the other leg, the right leg, in alignment with the left. So now both legs are long, both feet are flexed, and I want you to bring the big toes together. So as if I was squeezing a blanket between my legs, from the inner groins now, all the way out the soles of the feet, big toes are glued together. Now let the inner thighs at the same time be heavy and feel the hip flexors start to open. Now engage also through the core as you flex through the quadriceps. Continue squeezing those legs together and draw the belly button slightly towards the spine as you press into the upper arms now, just to open the chest a little more. The chin stays towards the throat. Now we'll exhale, release. Now we'll bend the knees again. Now we're going to lift the hips up off of our support. Now the heels are under my knees. I exhale here. I keep the weight on the meat of the shoulder, so I'm not bringing my weight onto the neck. I keep now, I can continue to sort of walk the shoulder blades together as I press the arm bones down. Now I'll just lift my hips up off of my block, and I'll exhale, remove my block, and come down. Now I can release through my shoulders. I can release through my arms. And I'm just going to place my block. I can continue to press down with my arm bones here. The palms are facing up. So now what I'm going to do, if this is comfortable, I'm going to stay right here with my legs lifted. If it's more comfortable, I can just barely touch the feet to the ground and lift one leg at a time. So that might be more accessible for you depending on where you are. Now, what we don't want is to overarch in the back, okay? We want to draw the rib cage towards the center of the body, down, zip through the core here as we draw the belly button towards the ground so that we're not overarching the back. If it's better, you can use the palms down. You can even open the arms out to the side. It's slightly harder that way, but these are options or variations. Okay, so now we're going to exhale, just extending one leg. This is probably enough for a lot of you. Now, if you're quite advanced, you could consider doing something like this. So we're going to draw back to center and we'll exhale, lengthening the other leg. Now remember, you can go wide if that works for you, but do not compromise the back. Okay, so now back to center. Just extend the right leg, exhale back. Continue to engage the core here. So now we're thinking, yeah, a little bit about that six-pack, the rectus abdominis, as we pull the belly button towards the back body, but we're still engaging here through the other sides of the body, through the girdle at large, as we support this core exercise. Continue to press down to support the body. Chin stays towards the throat. Breathing naturally. Keep the tongue, the jaw soft. And if it helps, you can apply your mantra. I will forgive so that I may live. I will forgive so that I may live. We'll take about 3 more. And now we can exhale and just give the knees a little hug to the chest. You can let the legs sort of open out to the side. If it's more comfortable, the knees can be together. Whatever works for you here, just take a little break. And from there, we'll exhale, rolling to the side. Now we're going to come up and we're going to take hold of our strap. Now, if it's comfortable, you can come sit on the feet, but you can also use your block here under the buttocks. Now, we're going to anchor down, and from here, I want to see the knees together, so you're not open, right? Bring those knees together for an internal rotation. Now, like I said, we're going to get into this more in the first series with grounding the femur bones in the library curriculum, but nonetheless, we've looked at that a little bit. So now we're going to take hold of our strap and we place it behind the back. So now, from your perspective, I look like this, okay? So that's pretty much it at this point in time. We're going to shrug the shoulders back, let the chest be open. We're going to start with the hands just here on the hips. Now I'm going to try not to pop the ribs. Keep the ribs in, zip through the core. As I place my hands now here on my hips, I can walk them slightly back. Now the good news for me is that my strap is already starting to soften down, but you might have very broad shoulders, so the strap is creating a lot of tension here in the chest. That's okay. Just keep pressing the hands into your support and shrugging the shoulders back without popping the ribs. Keep zipping through the core, the chin comes towards the throat, and let the chest naturally open here. Now keep breathing fully. Engage the core, let the chest be open. Shoulders continue to draw down the back, chin in towards the throat. I will forgive so that I may live. I will forgive so that I may live. Stay right here. Now, if you're very flexible, you may not even need your strap. But if you can, bring the hands down. Now, you can place the hands almost all the way down if you want, or come up onto the fingers. Now, from the back here, just place your hands in alignment with the feet. Now, if you were already experiencing a lot of openness or thereabouts, soften the elbows back. The shoulder blades draw towards one another. Do you see that? So I go from something like this to drawing the shoulder blades down and towards one another. As the elbows soften, the chest opens. Now, from the side, this is what it looks like. My hands are in alignment with the feet. I'm not turned back, not quite yet. So middle fingers facing the feet. I shrug the shoulders back and towards one another. The chest opens as the elbows soften away, okay? Engage through the core here. And with all your might, try to draw the abdomen and the rib cage back in towards alignment with the body so that I'm not popping or dumping, okay? With all your might. And continue to squeeze those elbows together so that I'm not flaring out. Now, some of you may have released already, which I'm proud of you. Good job. There's no need to hurt or harm. We listen to our limitations. And here, now we're going to exhale. Release. We can come now down to center. Now we're just going to open the arm to the side. Massage through the neck, through the chest, using the opposite hand here. To just give a nice self-massage. I like to always get the shoulder, the neck, even the jaw. Coming back to center, switching sides. To peel the chest open. So good. I exhale round. I inhale, lift. Now I come back to my mantra. I will live so that I may live forgiven. Inhale, I will live, or I will forgive. Exhale, so that I may live forgiven. Inhale, I will forgive. So that I may live forgiven. Now continue in your own time, in your own rhythm. Now we're going to come to center, tuck the toes, exhale the hips back, downward dog. Now keep those elbows tucked in, triceps towards the temples, biceps sort of rotate out to the side so that I'm not arching like that, but tuck them in. Press all the fingers down so that I'm not putting so much pressure on the wrists. Lengthen the hips away. We can soften the knees here. And press the thigh bones back, that grounding action. The heels do not need to touch the ground. If you want to ground through the thighs, that can happen with heels on the ground, but don't do that at the compromise and go for more of a neutral spine, which is a healthier choice to start out. And then we look to the hands. We can step or jump forward or take many steps forward as you need. Hands to the shin bones. We can inhale to a flat back. Exhale down. Now, last series, we reviewed this in our neutral spine in our very first video. So if you are having difficulty and you're really round here, please take a look at that first video and it will walk you through the neutral spine in the sun salutations. Now we can inhale, rise. Exhale, hands down to center. Inhale, lift. Shoot the sitting bones back, fold at the waist, exhaling. We can gently bend the knees. Remember, as the belly folds forward, releasing down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands come down. Now we're going to do this again once more, but I want you to apply your mantra. Inhale, I will forgive. Exhale, so that I may live forgiven. Inhale, I will forgive. Exhale, so that I may live forgiven. Inhale, I will forgive. Exhale, so that I may live forgiven. Now on your own, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do that one last time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Okay. Now from here, I want you to take hold of your strap once again. And this time, we'll bring our hands into our strap and hold it, okay? So just like that, the palms can be sort of facing back. Anchor down through the heels, let the tailbone be heavy, shrug the shoulders back, okay? You see my knee? Anchor through the heels now. Float the chest forward, exhaling. Now this might be where you are going to find the most tension. You're gonna go, yay, this is good. Stay here. Lengthen the shoulder blades down the back. Lengthen the hands away from the crown of the head. Now, if you're like this and your chin is all like jutted out and your shoulders are super tense, come back up a little more. Shrug the shoulders back and draw the chin towards the throat, okay? This is the integrity of the spine and the shoulder action that we are aiming to find, all right? So that is most important. Our goal is to correct the posture, all right? Let's exhale, coming back. You can release, Take a second. Come back. Realign. Shoulders down the back. Feet are hip width. Shrug those shoulders, zip to the core. Inhale and exhale, bending at the waist, neutral spine. Now, press into the strap, lengthen the arms away from the crown of the head. Chin stays towards the throat. Continue to engage through the core. as the chest starts to peel open. Now, as you get stronger with this, you can start to turn the hands out to the side, and eventually you can even open the palms completely up. So going for that supination action of the hands, but it's not super necessary right now. If you're strong, you can stay, or you can even float the belly forward and lengthen here now. I want to keep holding my strap. I'm pressing my hands into the outsides of it. I'm going to lengthen my strap now overhead. Now I don't want to go too far. I want to keep attention in the strap as my hands, the palms now are facing each other as I press out into my strap. I keep that action in the shoulder blades, drawing down the back, chin in towards the throat. Now I can exhale, release. Now coming up. Now I'm going to release my strap. Inhale, rise. Now I can have two choices here. I can exhale and clasp my hands together if I'm very flexible. If I'm less flexible, I'm just going to let my arms hang, all right? So if I'm more flexible, I can fold all the way forward, clasp the hands, and again, lengthen them down the back, or I can even let them float overhead, okay? So if I'm more flexible, if you have a body more like mine, then this is a good chance just to let that chest open and release. So now if you are less flexible, you can just cross the arms here and let the head hang. Okay, so wherever you are, just lean into that. You can cross the hands or cross the, switch the cross of the hand. And now we'll exhale, bringing the hands back. You can engage the core lifting up, and if your hands are crossed, then why don't you, one vertebrae at a time, roll up. You can even release the arms. Head is heavy. Oh, baby. Okay, now anchor down through the heel. Applying last series climax pose. Draw this thigh bone away. Lift here through that back leg. Anchor down through the foot. If you can, just lift the leg, but if you need to support the leg, then do that too. But the trick here now is to zip through the core and apply this shoulder action at the same time, right? Shoulder blades draw down the back slightly together as we zip through the core. The tailbone is heavy. Now, if I was on the ground, I'd be pressing into it like this with my palms facing up. Exhale, release. Same thing. Now, switch feet. Press the thigh bone back. Zip through the core. Lift here through this leg. If you need to support the leg, you can, but don't shrug. Don't give up. Fight for that action in the shoulders. Okay, now zip through the core. Continue pressing this right thigh bone back. Now, if you can, let the arms fall down by the sides. Fight for this action in the shoulders as if we were lying on the ground, pressing those arms back. Zip through the core, engage, and we exhale, release. Okay, so now we're going to take a little break coming into a child's pose. If you want, you can sun salute to get there, or you can just come down onto your knees. Now we're going to apply what we learned last time as well. I'm just going to take a moment here. Fold your blanket with a nice little knot into the hip crease. Now bring the knees together. Okay, that's going to be important for this particular moment. So you let the belly sort of float forward, and if you have your block or your brick or your support or your book, you can place that, under the chest. You can place it under the head, and just relax. Okay, so now we're starting to really engage through an internal rotation of the legs. Now, if you're more flexible, you might not need anything. You can clasp the hands behind the back here if you wanted. And this might be a good spot for you. You might need to just support yourself with the arms. You can round here through the back. That's okay. It may work actually for you to even have two supports for the arms if that works. You can. Or just support here as you round like this, depending on your body type, okay? So we'll take a few breaths here with our mantra. I will forgive so that I may live. Let the back of the pelvis be broad. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And now we can remove our block. Press into the hands, open the chest, rise with a long, engaged spine. Now we can remove our blanket to the side, press the hands down, and engage in a downward dog. Now inhale, that right foot comes forward. We're going to anchor that left heel. We'll just find a warrior one here for a few breaths. That knee floats on top of the ankle. Press down through the outer exterior portion of the foot of the back leg. Press equally through both of the feet, even here. And please never bring this knee too far forward. Keep that knee on top. Now we're going to exhale, opening to a warrior 2. Just to take a few moments here. Lengthen equally through both of the arms. And now we exhale, coming back to center. Now here's a challenge. We're going to turn onto the toes of this back leg and find a crescent pose. Now we're going to stay here, lengthen the arms up and away. So it's like almost like a moon from the hands down through the body and swooping back. You see how there's almost like a circular action here through the body? We want to sort of find as if we were like a half moon. So we're feeling a nice stretch here through the core, especially through the hip flexor. This quad is engaged, this heel is lifted. I zip my core in, the chest is open, and the shoulders draw slightly down the back as the heart opens. Now I'm going to exhale, the hands come down on the inside of the foot. I find my plank pose. Now we're going to do a whole series on chaturanga, so don't worry, we'll get to it. Just soften the elbows back for now, engage through the core, coming down. Now, choice is yours if you want to find a cobra or an upward dog, but if you're in an upward dog, please come out of the turtle shell, lift and engage, and exhale back. I will forgive so that I may live. Now we exhale that left foot forward. I'm going to switch sides. We'll anchor this right heel down to start. Warrior one. Now here we should feel a nice stretch beginning to happen through the front of the hip flexor and the quad in this warrior one posture. This right thigh bone is straight, pointing in alignment with the toes. As I zip the core, lift and brighten as I anchor through that heel. So even here, I'm finding a little bit of that sort of moon shape, eh? Square the hips. What I mean by that is like this. And even here, hollow this groin and drop the thigh bone back as you zip through the core. Now we can exhale, just taking a short little break here in a warrior two. We inhale back to center. Crawl onto this back toe. So now I'm finding that crescent pose. As I lengthen up through the arms, I zip through the core. Tailbone is still heavy here as I find this pouring up and cascading down. This nice action here of a moon-like circular flow of my energy, I suppose. Continue to engage in the core, strong through the legs. Again, I should be feeling that nice little stretch here through the lower belly, through the quad, through the hip flexor. We can apply that mantra at all times. Now we exhale, coming back down to our center. Finding our plank. Soften the elbows back. Big toes together, finding that cobra. Now we're going to stay here. Big toes glued together. Hands here are underneath the elbows. Chin towards the throat, but my chest is lifted. I scoop the shoulder blades together. I pour my weight into the feet. Now, I can slightly engage through the buttocks here, but I do not want to over-engage. Why don't we try that? Over-engage the buttocks. You see how there's a natural external rotation that happens in the legs? Release the buttocks and glue the big toes together, okay? That's what we want. We want an internal rotation, as if someone were pulling on two strings of the inner thighs. Lifting the inner thighs to the sky, okay? Now, if we can, why don't we exhale, just releasing here for a moment. If you want, you can turn your face to the side and release the hands. Now, turn your face to the other side and release. Now come back to center. Now this time, chin in towards the throat. If you can clasp the hands or take hold of your strap. Bring your hands into the strap. Palms facing each other for now. Lengthen the hands towards the heels as you scoop the shoulder blades together. Chin stays towards the throat. Glue the big toes and press the tops of the feet into the ground. I will forgive so that I may live. Continue to lengthen the hands away. Shoulder blades draw towards each other. Chin towards the throat. Internal rotation of the thighs, as if someone were pulling on two strings on the inner thighs they were lifting up. And now exhale, release. Bring your hands now to underneath the elbows. We're going to exhale, downward dog. I will forgive so that I may live. Now we're going to exhale, draw the knees down, float the knees about 2 inches off the ground. You can readjust the hands if you need here. Lift through the back of the body, lift through the core, chin towards the throat. And now, if you're up for the challenge, you can sort of lengthen back to a downward dog and jump the feet to the hands. And come down onto the buttocks. Now, we're going to cross the legs, press the hands down, draw the shoulders down the back. Okay, now from here, I can use my feet on the ground, no big deal, but I'm going to engage the core and lift my butt off the ground. Exhale, release, switch legs. Same thing. Draw the shoulders down the back as I press into the hands to lift the body off the floor. Chin stays in towards the throat. I can switch. Now, if you're capable, you can lift the feet as well. Switch. And we exhale. Calming down now, one vertebrae at a time. Come all the way down. And we'll just relax here. Taking a breath or two. I will forgive. Now, take hold of your strap. You can choose to use a strap or not. It's up to you. Heels are under the knees. Now, we're just going to lift and bring your hands into the strap and press the tops of the hands down and just come back. So now my hips are trapping that strap down. If the strap is too much, don't worry about it. So now, I walk the shoulder blades together slightly. Chin comes towards the throat. Engage through the core. Now I press into the feet. I lift the hips. I press into the upper arms to lift the chest. As I press the tops of the hands down, yes, but I can also turn the palms towards one another here. As I lift, I will forgive so that I may live. And we can exhale, release. Now, as time goes on, we'll go more into depth with that. Now I can open my arms out to the side. I'm going to lift my knees and exhale the legs to one side, coming into a twist. I'll find my mantra. I will forgive so that I may live. Exhale, engage the core as you come back to center and switch sides. Finding your mantra. And we can exhale back to center. Now, we're going to lift the forehead towards the knees to round. And now, if you're comfortable, we can just rock back and forth until you come up into a seated posture. Now, if you have your blanket, we're going to place that under the buttocks. So you want to fold it so that it has a good stable crease. Okay, so I'm going to make mine a little higher today. So I'm going to fold it into threes. And I'll use this side here, but you could use this side as well. I'm going to sit my buttocks on it. Now, if you have very tight hamstrings, just keep the knees bent, lift the belly, and relax the head between the knees. If you're more advanced in your practice and you want to lengthen the legs, you can do that, but I don't want to see you pulling. I don't want to see you holding your breath. I want to see instead that hollow hip crease, the belly floating forward, and a nice smooth line from the sacrum out the crown. Don't forget your mantra. I will forgive so that I may live. Keep rounding the thigh bones if you're long in the legs. Internal rotation of the thighs. Chin stays towards the throat. Wherever you are, you want a nice round, evenly round action from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. So if I'm lifting in my shoulders, this is not proper. You see, the neck is part of the spine. So if there's like an opposite dip in the neck, so I'm here, I'm trying to round, and then my neck is going like this. No, lengthen so that it's evenly round. You see that? You will have so much tension constantly in the neck and in the shoulders if you continue to tighten through the shoulders by lifting them like that. And then you wonder why you have headaches. Let the spine be long and free. Now we're really resting in this forward bend because we did so much back to draw the chin towards the throat. Now, if you know you're done back bending, then feel free to come out at any time. Or excuse me, if you know you're done forward bending, come out at any time and start preparing for Shavasana with your sweater, your socks, turning the lights off. When you're ready to come out, one vertebrae at a time. Now really milk it, starting at the pelvis, roll one vertebrae at a time up. Oh, so good. I'm going to close my practice with a little chest opener. And now we can prepare for Shavasana. So you just place this pillow or this blanket under the head. You can put on your sweater. Let the legs be long and heavy. Let the arms be long and heavy. As you let the body grow long. Now, if you have an extra blanket, feel free to cover your whole body with that. If you have face cloth or an eye mask, you can put that over the eyes. And here you just let the body find complete and utter stillness. Let the bones totally settle. The muscles fall away from the bone. Now, if you do have lower back pain, you could cause more relief for yourself by gently bending the knees. So that is an option for you. Let the jaw come unhinged. Let the forehead soften. Let the tongue settle down into the back of the throat. Let the brain be cool. And find that breath practice. Inhaling, I will forgive. Exhale, so that I may live. Forgive and live. Forgive and live. Forgive and live. Forgive and live. Forgive I will forgive so that I may live. I invite you to continue meditating on this and carrying it with your breath practice throughout your day. And I pray that this truth would be given to you personally, and that this truth will continue to teach you and guide you into love and light. May the seed of forgiveness be sown into your heart. And may we all learn to forgive others so that we can live forgiven. I invite you to deepen the breath in the body. Now you can begin to wiggle the toes and examine the body from the ankles through to the shins, the knees, the thighs, into the pelvis. How do you feel? How does the spine feel? The core, and especially the chest, the shoulders. Where are your shoulder blades? How have they sat now on the body? And the head, the action of the head. How do you feel? I invite you to carry this out into your daily living so that that loving voice is not just a practice on your mat, but rather a lifestyle. Now you can gently bend one knee at a time, rolling to the side. Using the arm as a pillow, I invite you to nestle here for one final moment of gratitude. Let us give thanks for one thing we are grateful for. And now we can roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming to a seated posture. Feel the fruit of your practice, the alignment of your shoulders, the spine. I'm sitting on my block. I invite you to do the same. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your donations. Thank you for your support. Please like this. Please share. Please subscribe. And I'll see you next time. God bless you.